Good morning and welcome to today's community conversation. Today, we're going to talk about how many hours a day you should be fasting and how many days a week, let's say, you should be fasting. And we're going to talk about it from the standpoint of the goals that you have and the lifestyle that you want to live, right? So, welcome if you're new. My name is Diane Parham. I am the creator of the online course and community, the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman. And here we talk about all things for us as aging women as our body are kind of transitioning through this season of hormonal change. And I do really like to start these conversations from the mindset approach with all of the information that we know about intermittent fasting and our changing bodies as the backup for it. So do me a favor, if you're jumping on with us live, please make sure that you participate in the comments. It's my favorite part. So selfishly, I love it when we get to have our conversations here. And then if you're joining us on the rebroadcast, I also ask the same thing. Jump into the comment section. This is where we really get to form a relationship and really feel like we're part of a community. And I always love interacting with you guys. And then if you don't mind, also make sure that you're subscribed and share this out with your friends. Intermittent fasting is definitely that thing that is more mainstream. So I promise you, you have a friend who's probably not talking about the fact that they're intermittent fasting. And it might just be the thing that opens up the conversation so you don't feel like you're going about this all alone. Okay, so let's get started. So if for those of you who don't know, I am a certified exercise nutrition coach. And I just recently went through my recertification for my certification. And so I went through my textbook and I ran across and refamiliarized myself with the levels that we as coaches are taught to help people kind of identify so we know they're on the right track. And so I thought this would be a great way to break down and help you guys figure out how long you should be fasting and how frequently you should be participating in, let's say, a fast, right? And do you go on the more extreme side? Can you do it casually? And what I find as a coach from my side of things is that we often have the mindset of we want to go to like a really specific place with our goals, but the lifestyle that we have or the reality of what that's going to take when it sets in, we realize we don't really want that thing. So I'll share really quickly with you guys. I just recently went through this myself where I thought, oh, I'm going to run a half marathon this year. And then I really started getting into my training and realizing like all of the time I was going to have to give up to train for this half marathon and getting up early on the weekends to go out and run a couple of hours. And when the reality of all of that set in, so that would be what I'm going to talk about here, like a level 3 goal. I was like, oh, I don't really think I want to do that. I just want to enjoy my running, which is more like a level 1 goal, right? And so it happens to all of us. What I think happens in the world of intermittent fasting or when we're following a bunch of people giving out advice is we start to get really confused. I do it myself about the expectation that's tied to the goal that we want to have for ourselves. And we get so much information that's conflicting that we get frustrated and we say, forget it. So I'm here to help you figure all this out so you don't say forget it and you can reap all the amazing benefits of whatever lifestyle you want to live, right? So that you can be happy and healthy. And this is what we teach. You guys know if you're my graduates in the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman course, I want you to have the experience of fasting a certain way so that you can then take that out into your everyday practice without being manipulated or confused by other information because you'll have the experience of doing it a certain way. Okay, so let's go. So what would be a level 1 type of goal? Let's say with intermittent fasting, right? So most women that I come across, they say they just want to lose weight. They want to feel better. They want to look healthy. They want to just like participate in their life and not feel like they're being beat down by what's going on internally with their body chemistry and their hormones, right? So, I mean, I think that's all of us. We're all pretty level 1. Like, I just want to show up looking and feeling my best, right? And doing it in a way that's not going to tax my lifestyle. This is the majority of us. I would put myself as a level 1 person as well. So level 2 is someone who's like, hey, Diane, think I want to pick up running, or my son's getting married next summer and I would really like to fit into this kind of dress. And so what do I have to do to make that happen? So that would be like a level 2 type of thing. And level 3 would be like what I was saying that I went through this year, where I was like, I'm going to run a half marathon, or I want to run a marathon. Or maybe you're like in a physique type of thing where you want to weigh a certain weight for a certain reason, or you want to be a certain percentage body fat. Maybe it's a competitive type of thing that you're in, a physique competition, or you're like at that elite level. So here's where we get confused about how long to fast and how frequently we should fast. Most people giving out advice talk at the level 3 advice level, but most of us are living here with how it is we realistically want to live our life, and no wonder there's confusion, right? So level 3 advice with intermittent fasting is something along the lines of like, seed cycling, or macro counting, or managing a certain caloric base, or what is your VO2 max when you're working out aerobically. And all of that stuff gets really complicated, and it takes a lot of time and energy to manage. Like, that would be level 3 type of advice, when we're just like, yo, I just want to like my workouts. I want to enjoy getting dressed in the morning in my clothes, and I just want to have the energy to live my life. And so this is where so many people are feeling frustrated and confused, and are throwing in the towel with intermittent fasting, because some people say, fast 16 hours. Some people say fast 20 hours. Some people say you're not going to get results unless you only drink water for 3 days. And that's just not true. What we have to do is come back to us and say, what do I really want for myself, and how can I get that without having to go to extremes or live or leave my life, right? Okay, so how long should we be fasting every day? We've talked about this a lot here in this community, and we know that 13-hour point of your fast is really when fasting kicks in, right? Anything before that is technically just easing out of your last feasting experience and easing into a fasted state. So 13 hours is really the minimum you want to be fasting every single day, to just give yourself that health buffer, right? 20 hours, you guys know, is what I teach here in this community, because we have seen now from this community, not scientific data, not tests that were done in the laboratory, but from the women who have been in this community, who are fasting on the regular, so not every single day, but like that's their default fasting window, are seeing and feeling the best results. This is why I teach fasting for 20 hours in the intermittent fasting for today's aging woman class, because I want you to build the confidence and have the experience and the magic of what a 20-hour fast can be. Now, does that mean you have to fast every single day for 20 hours? No. This is where we come back into this, right? Like, if your goal is you just want to look and feel your best, and you thrive in a fasted state, then I always say lean into the fast, right? But we also want to know how we live our life, right? And what do we do when a vacation comes up on the calendar, or we have something going on with our kids or our grandkids that we want to participate in, or a social event comes up? What do we do then? And this is where I like you to understand the flexibility of what an intermittent fasting lifestyle can do for you, right? So the how often part is let your life determine that, right? So if you're going on vacation, you guys know what I love to teach here is fast on the travel day out, fast on the travel day in, and fast when you can when you're on vacation, right? So you don't have to necessarily, have a midnight snack and wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and, have breakfast delivered to your room, unless that's what your vacation has been defined as, right? So we all have an opportunity to fast every single day. Maybe it's just fasting 13 hours a day. But when we get ourselves so blocked out into this advice that we're hearing on the internet, and then realizing that we just want to live at this level, we start to get stressed out. We start to lose our confidence, and then we start to self-sabotage, because it does become overwhelming. right? So if these are your goals, if you're just a level one person walking around like, I just want to be happy and healthy and enjoy food when I have food and reap all the benefits of what fasting has to offer me, then this is the range, right, in which you should participate in an intermittent fasting lifestyle. Now, when I say range, I don't mean that you have to like track every single hour that you're in a fasted state. This is where I say practice intermittent fasting on a daily basis. So it's just what you do. If you think about the fact that when we were told that breakfast was the most important meal of the day, we just got up and ate breakfast and didn't even have to think about it, right? Because that's what we were told to do and that's what we did. It was the habit that we created that was just second nature to us because that's what we thought was the best thing for us. So all you have to do is change your thoughts. And if your thought is, when I wake up in the morning, I have a black cup of coffee and or you have your water first, right? So you have your bottle of water first and then you have your black cup of coffee, and that's just what you do. Then you don't have to stress about this and micromanage your fasting. If you put yourself in a fasted state, you've reaped the benefit for that day in a fasted state and you just relax and enjoy your life. So if a girlfriend calls up and she wants to go have breakfast or lunch or brunch at the golf club or whatever, you can go. Like, just go enjoy it. And the day you don't have a social event, you can lean into a little bit longer of a fast, right? And once you understand what the minimum is and what the comfort level is for you, then you can just ease into intermittent fasting and you don't have to worry about getting everything perfect, right? That level 3 is perfection. That is 110% dedication to achieve a very specific goal. But if you're not making goals at that level, then you don't have to live your life at that level. You can live very fluidly throughout your life and you can enjoy all the things that you have going on throughout your day. I really do my best to try to model that for you guys. I am a very normal woman, right? I don't live in extremes. I love being in a fasted state. Like, that 20-hour energized sense of calm is the best feeling for me. Like, I love it. But you might not love it, right? So if you don't love it, find the place where you feel your absolute best. Find the place where you get that internalized energy. Find the place that's going to allow you to look and feel your best. That's how long you should fast every day. And then you leave the exceptions to how your life is panning out. I listened to an intermittent fasting expert yesterday talk about how, and he's like a scientist, and he was talking about how he knows through scientific data that the best time for us to fast and feast is opposite of what we do as a society, right? Like, we should literally be eating breakfast and lunch and then fasting for the rest of the afternoon, giving our time, our body the time to be empty before we go to bed, wake up, you feast again for the rest of the day. But socially, for a lot of us, that just doesn't work. So he said he knows what scientifically the best data is showing for when you should eat your meals, but he has young kids. And so he doesn't want to miss dinner time with his kids because that's the most important thing for him right now, right? And that's where we, as individual women, really need to start thinking. We know that this is what is the absolute level 3 best advice, right? But does it make sense for the life that I want to live? Like, I also have kids at home and a husband, and we eat dinner together. And I don't want to miss dinner so that I can be at this level. I'm okay being here, maybe even sometimes going here, but this is too extreme for me being happy with the choices that I'm making with this and being able to reach my goals, right? Like, what are my goals? I don't necessarily need to be the result of a scientific study. I need to be happy and healthy for the people that I love and for myself, most importantly. So be careful about the advice that you're being thrown and what you have to absolutely do to find success. The thumbnail for this video that I put up on Facebook and YouTube was a screenshot I took from Tuesday when I was doing a live in my community on Instagram. And one of our graduates, her name's Kimmy, came on and left a comment saying she's lost 40 pounds since she took my course at the beginning of the summer. So imagine if you just learn how your body responds to fasting and you experience what the majority of real life women from all around the world have experienced with a 20-hour fast while they have been in class. And then you let your life determine the rest of it so that you can be happy and healthy. Like you could lose 40 pounds in the time span of a summer. So let's think about the fact that we're reaching October, November, and December, the 3 months out of the year where most people start to freak out about the weight they're anticipating gaining, right? So let's think about that from a mindset approach. And let's think about that as how long you should be fasting, right? And how often you should be fasting. If you're already feeling the angst of October, November, and December because you always gain weight during those seasons because it's the holidays or family parties or the cookie party that your friend invites you to or the wine tasting party or all the social events that you probably drag yourself to because you really don't want to go to anyways, then you participate when you're there and then you regret 3 months later when you realize you've gained all this weight. Let's start now thinking a different way and let's start practicing some of these hours of fasting to just prepare our body so that we can feel that energized sense of calm. We can get that reward from just reaching the goals that we say that we have for ourselves. And then we can start determining what we want our life to look like. So we're not the person in January 2022 who's rushing to the gym or frantically buying diet pills or frantically starting a diet program because we're regretting the last 3 months that we lived, right? So how long should you fast every day? You should fast the amount of hours it takes for you at this level. If this is where you're at, there's supposed to be a 1 right there, level 1. For you to reach your goal. So if your goal is to be happy and healthy and just reverse some of these signs and symptoms that menopause has brought on for you, our beautiful friend Kim on Instagram said this is what I teach. Over the course of a summer, she was able to lose 40 pounds. She's excited about it. Like imagine being excited about it and all you have to do is figure out what time frame you need to put your body in a fasted state and then let your life determine the rest. We have these kind of stories all the time in this community because I give you the power. I want you to have the power to decide how it is you want to live your life. If you're fasting 18 hours every day and you are happy and healthy, then 18 hours is the amount of time that you need to fast. If you're fasting 16 hours every day and you are happy and healthy, then 16 hours is the amount of hours you need to fast. If you're fasting for 16 hours and you're not happy about the results that you're getting, then I would recommend fasting a little bit longer because we know the magic that happens in a fasted state, right? So it's all you. You get to decide, you have the power, and then reach out when you have questions or jump back into class or jump into class with us. Our next one starts on October 2nd. I, as a coach, want you to decide what it is it's going to take to make you happy and healthy because I promised you, Fred's going to tell you one thing, Sarah's going to tell you one thing, Dr. So-and-so is going to tell you one thing, and Dr. whatever his name is going to tell you something else, and then you're going to sit here puzzled and confused and not start anything. So just start. Start with 13. Work your way up to 20. If you want to know why 20 is the magic, I highly recommend jumping into class with us. I want you to have the power and confidence to live a happy, healthy life at whatever level you decide you want it to be at. And then just understand that once you pick a level and you find the results, you're going to have to stay at that level to keep those results. Most people are right here. Most of the advice comes from here. This is why we're so confused. Okay? So stop the confusion, trust your body, and just jump in with confidence for sure. Okay, so let me get into the comments and the questions from you guys. Again, for those of you who just want me to answer the question, that was the title of this video. 13 to 20 hours in intermittent fasting is enough. Figure out the range that works for you. Even 22 hours is a great amount of time to fast every single day if 1 meal a day type of approach with a little snack within a 2-hour window works for you and the lifestyle that you want to live. It's when we're unhappy or we're dragging ourselves into a lifestyle that we've created and we're not enthusiastic about it, that's where there's a problem with fasting. It shouldn't be torture. It should be enjoyable. It should be fun. And it should be something that gets you a result that you are going to love. And then let your life be the thing that's going to decide when you ebb and flow through here. Anne Marie, April 2019 grad girlfriend. I haven't seen you in a while. It's so good to see you here with us. Sciences and e-learning. Thanks for you. I have a question about vitamins and minerals when we are fasting. Okay, what's your question? Danny, hello. I will let Michael know that you said hello. He's out on a run right now, but I'll let him know you stopped by and said hello to him. She's in October 2018 grad. IF is the way for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's the simplest way to live your life, right? I really am emphasizing the concept of doing absolutely nothing for the majority of your day. So many of us are so busy and so strapped on time and so strapped financially with all the things that have gone on over the past year and a half. Like, imagine if you just got to do nothing for the majority of your day, and the end result of that was living your happiest and healthiest life. It's an amazing concept, but it's so hard to wrap our head around, again, because there's so much of this going on when all we really want is this. Linda, hello. So glad to have you with us. Sue, good morning. May 2020 grad girlfriend. Hopefully you're still thriving with your intermittent fasting lifestyle. Jackie, good to see you on here today. My friend Judy, I will admit that I wasn't sure I could handle a 20-hour fast, but once I got there, let me put this up here so you guys can read it. I will admit that I wasn't sure I could handle the 20-hour fast, but once I got there and have done it for several months now, I realize it is exactly what works for me. Amen, Judy. The thought of going 20 hours without food, I know is daunting because I was the one who was scared myself. As a hypoglycemic person, I could not go more than 2 hours and 1 minute without a food fix. It was a joke in my family. We carried snack bags for me. My family was always like, even my little kids were like, "Mom, do you have a snack?" Because I would just like freeze. I had to have that sugar fix. I had to have that new food experience to keep me going blood sugar wise. Once I broke that, now I'm free to move about my life. I don't carry snacks. I don't have insulated lunch bags. I can go many hours. And if I'm out and about and I hit my 20-hour mark, I just keep fasting, right? As long as I have water, I'm fine. So, Judy, I'm so glad that you made that connection. And now you know, wherever you are, whatever you have going on, that 20-hour fast is going to be the thing that's going to empower you and help you get through your day. I can't be any happier for you. Love it. Love it for sure. Sherry, good morning. July 2018 grad. I love when our grads come back. It's so good to have you. And then Judy, I started IF in January 2021, took your course in April 2021, and definitely have seen the most results since then. 52 pounds off as of now. I love the as of now. So that hopefully means that you're keeping up with your consistency with this lifestyle, and that weight that your body does not want to hold will come off when your body is ready to let it go. So I love that you're patient. I love that you've created a lifestyle for yourself. And more importantly, I love that you have been able to seek the goals and reach the goals that you were after. So 52 pounds is no joke. 52 pounds is like a kindergartner. And when you think about the fact that you have lost the equivalent weight of a young human being that you no longer have to carry around every single day and get up out of a chair, it's got to be just so energizing and freeing for you, and not to mention the added years you've added onto your life. And so I'm so happy for you, and I'm so proud of you. And now you just rinse and repeat this process, Judy, and I promise you everything will keep getting better. Linda, alumni here. So good to have you back as well. I love when you guys come back. Okay, so intermittent fasting, it really should not be so regimented. It really should not be so daunting. It really should not be so, it has to be this way or the highway. You really should be able to determine what your daily fasting schedule is based on the goals that you have set up for yourself, right? Most of us just want to get through our day with energy and a clear mind and not having to manage a bunch of health situations that are going, south for us, right? So we want to be happy and healthy. Most advice from experts comes at this level. Now that you know, look for it, right? Look for it. If you don't feel like you can live that regimented of a life, know you have a window to play with. Find your sweet spot. For the women in this community, over 7,000, we're getting close to 8,000 women who've graduated from the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman course. This is the sweet spot, and it is so flippin' easy to do. Once you are like my girl Judy, right? And you just give it a go, and you experience what the magic can do for you, and you understand why chemically and hormonally. That's what I teach you in class, why that is such a great place to live. And then we got Danielle here. Good morning, girlfriend. It's so good to have you with us this morning. Okay, so play with it. You be the captain of your own ship, so to speak, right? Know that 13 hours is the minimum amount of time to actually achieve a fasted state in your body. 20 hours is a very doable every single day fasting protocol. 22 is absolutely fine. Anything under 24 hours is considered intermittent fasting. So just know that definition. You do not have to water fast for multiple days to reap the benefits of what fasting has to offer. That's more this right here. If you like food, I love food. I admit that all the time. I fast every single day, but I love me some food. I'm not a food phobic. I don't fear food. I understand food and how it works with my body. And that's what I want you guys to understand as well. Once you get those connections, I promise you, you can have everything you want in your life as an aging woman, and you don't have to be frustrated and feel like you're bouncing around from diet to diet because that's just not realistic for any of us, right? Juliet, what types of foods to eat? I always say this: eat the foods that you have conveniently available to you, fit into your budget, make you happy and also healthy in your everyday lifestyle. Make food or eat food that I see you have a little person, maybe two kids right there in your picture. Eat the foods that your family eats, right? And so what I always say is if you have to always make separate food for your kids because you can't eat that food, you have to question as a mom why you're feeding food to your kids. It's not good enough for you, right? So we eat pretty standard in our house with the exception of some things that I won't eat because of gluten. I just have a response to it. My daughter eats it. She doesn't have a problem. So everyday one ingredient foods is the best thing, but that's not new, right? We all know that. So the more naturally occurring your food is, the less processed your food is, the more fresh fruits and vegetables you can get into your everyday life, the better you're going to be. And then I always say just rinse and repeat the foods that work for you and your family. If you're in my Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman course, I give you a 44-page feasting guide, and it has a lot of the meals that my family, my 20-year-old son grew up on, my 15-year-old daughter's eating, my husband eats, and I eat, and we rinse and repeat a lot of those in our house, and they're super easy to manipulate, whether you're gluten-free or you want to be vegan, or maybe you're not vegan. It's just layering one ingredient foods, and you take off and put on what every family member needs. So on my Instagram yesterday, I shared with you guys what we had for dinner last night. So we had steamed broccoli, we had pasta sauce, we had pasta, and we had some turkey meat. The way we made our dinner last night was, my daughter likes her regular good old fashioned pasta. My husband doesn't do gluten, so he had bonza pasta, which is a chickpea pasta, and we had steamed broccoli. I didn't want any of the pasta, so I had broccoli on the bottom, sauce, a little bit of meat, and a little bit of Parmesan cheese on the top. My husband had bonza pasta, sauce, meat, cheese. My daughter had her pasta, sauce, meat, cheese. We all had the same looking dish. The base of our meal was different. Everybody had broccoli, right? Because we wanted to have a fresh vegetable. So that's an example of how I eat. I don't eat like an extreme like nutrition person. I eat every single day food from the grocery store like all y'all do. I have just found some things that are better versions of some things that I used to consume that didn't allow me to look and feel my best. So I teach all of that inside the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman course. Make sure you get on my email list because we will be starting a class October 2nd, and that's the best place to learn all of this. And follow me on Instagram. I do my best to share food that I'm eating that's every day, to show you guys like I'm just a normal person and I eat chocolate every single day. Like that is not an exaggeration. That is not anything that's extreme in my opinion. I love chocolate. I found a really healthy version of chocolate that's actually a food, right? And so chocolate is a food. So if you're eating crappy chocolate from the local gas station food mart, that might not serve you. If you eat food chocolate that's made out of real food ingredients, there's lots of superfoods that you can put in chocolate, then it's not going to be a problem for you as long as you're not struggling to reach your goals. So those are the things I teach inside the intermittent fasting course for sure. What about those who have serious health problems now? Okay, so first and foremost, you always want to talk to your doctor, Donna. So if you're being currently managed by your doctor, let him know that this is something that you want to consider doing. If you do research on intermittent fasting, let's say you have a specific condition that you're trying to reverse, I would Google that and see if there's any research out there that shows that it could be beneficial for you to fast. The one thing that I can say as someone who has been in the health and wellness industry for most of my adult life is that food is the problem, right? And if we eliminate the problem, then we can get to our solution. So eating all day, eating highly processed food, starting our day with, bagels and cereals and pancakes and all those kind of things are the reason a lot of us are so sick. Our body's just backed up and it's not functioning the way it needs to. So draining the tanks, getting our system back to that reset point, and then reintroducing foods is the best way to go for sure. So talk to your doctor first, but I have a lot of women who have gone through the course. They use it as an informational piece and start implementing it once they're working with their doctor. So it's possible to reverse a lot of things with intermittent fasting for sure. Cancer, epilepsy. There's a million things that fasting is used for therapeutically, and the everyday person can see a lot of things reversed as well. I was pre-diabetic. I don't have any diabetic issues anymore. Angela, do we have access to the course if we took it a few years ago, 2017? Great. You have to go into fortodaysagingwoman.com, log in, and then look in your library and see if you still have your course set there. We've had 3 versions since 2017, but the information's pretty much the same. So you can go back in and see if you have your course in your library. And Danielle, I'm having trouble with diabetes. I haven't found my sweet spot because of it. Okay, so what do you mean by you're having problems with diabetes? Meaning like regulating your blood glucose. And then if that's the case, then you just have to consistently put yourself in that fasted state for a long enough period of time for your backup to drain. And that's what I teach in the concept of draining the tanks. And then it could be some of the foods that you're consuming in your feast as well. So we have to dig into a few more of those whys to figure out if I could give you a solution to that. But usually it's just because you're not consistently doing it for a long enough period of time. Now, Nathalie, I think it is, would a little bit of milk in the morning coffee break a fast? Okay, so here's where I like to get you back to like what your goals are, right? So if you're happy with how you're looking and feeling, and you're getting to that place where you can experience the energized sense of calm, and like having your morning coffee without milk is just like miserable for you, then the milk and the coffee is probably more important than skipping it. If you're not getting the results you want, or you're frustrated that you're not losing weight, or you're frustrated that you don't have energy, and like your fasting is not reaping the benefits that it should, it is 100% the milk in your coffee. So I always say play with that a little bit, maybe have designated days for milk in your coffee, and then other days where you just do long, clean fast for sure. I do that myself. Like I have days where I just want a really long, like deep cellular healing kind of fast, and I do those fasts like squeaky clean. And then there's other days where I'm going to train, and but I want to keep that fasting kind of environment in my body chemically and hormonally, and I dirty it up for my workout, and then I go back to a clean fast. So again, that's the rule you have to make, and then you just have to go, okay, I did this, I got a result, and I did this, I got a result. Which result do I like better? And then that's where you have to measure how many days you're going to let that milk get in your coffee. How to get that. Okay, so what did you say? that you mean how to get that. I don't know what that means. Sue, I'd like to take the IF class in October, loving my fried green tomatoes. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with fried green tomatoes, right? So what I would say is you don't have to give up fried green tomatoes, but what are you doing in the process of making those green tomatoes fried, right? Like what kind of oil are you using? If you're putting breading on it, what kind of breading are you putting on it? And could the breading or the oil be the thing that's making fried green tomatoes not work for you, right? Because let's think about it. Like we want healthy fats and we want our vegetables. So the fried green tomato itself is not the problem. It's the oil that you're using and what you're breading that fried green tomato with. And once you figure out how to substitute in better ingredients, then a fried green tomato is definitely something I would enjoy in my feasted state for sure. So never give up the foods that you absolutely love. Only give up the parts of the foods that aren't serving you. Carmen, good morning. So glad I caught you. I will catch the replay if IF is the best. IF is the best for sure. And my girl Carmen has lost so much weight and she's just such an inspiration. She's done so many great things for herself since practicing intermittent fasting. She was a 2017 grad. Her A1C is down, and she is still recommending Crestor for cholesterol. Okay, so lots of good information coming out about cholesterol as well, you guys. And another podcast I was listening to this week, a doctor was talking about how the thing that we really need to be concerned with is our triglycerides and not so much on our cholesterol. And what they're finding is that we actually want higher levels of cholesterol than once determined. Isn't that funny? Like all the things that they used to tell us are not fact anymore. And that people with really low cholesterol levels are suffering greatly with Alzheimer's and MS and cancer, and because we need cholesterol in our body. So we don't want to be a cholesterol free body, and we actually need to have more cholesterol than once determined. So Carmen, I would try to put that off as long as possible and do some research on that as well. And send me an email and I'll see if I can get you some information about that as well. So if your triglycerides are good, I would definitely maybe just see if you can do some things to keep your doctor at bay for a little while. Linda, my naturopath was concerned when I told her I did 20 hours of fasting. I decided not to bring it up again. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Just because because someone doesn't experience something doesn't mean that they're justified to say it's not a good thing, right? And so if you're reaping the benefits and you're loving the life that you're creating, then I would definitely say just keep it to yourself. It is that thing that so many people fear because of our mental and emotional obsession with food and how we use food in our everyday life. And it's not in a healthy way. And so if you're thriving, I always say, I don't tell people every time I eat. I don't need to tell people every time I don't eat, right? Like we don't walk around going, oh, I had breakfast at 8, I'm having lunch at noon. Like we don't say that to people. So we also don't need to tell people that we're not eating or we're not going to eat till 5 o'clock or whatever it is you decide to do. So we have to just retrain ourselves with our behaviors and what it is we're willing to share for sure. Patrice, hello, girlfriend, September 2020 grad. Donna, if you start at a level 3, can you work your way down to a level 1? You sure can. Like if you have a goal to be like a physique model or run a half marathon or do something very, very specific that creates like sort of a regimented routine, you can definitely, this is a temporary time frame. So most of us live here. Some of us live here and a lot of people live here, but I'm not going to say most, but there are definitely people who are striving for this and they're not happy and healthy. I've lived here before when I was doing physique competition kind of things myself or trying to reach a specific goal for a fitness type of like photo shoot I was taking. But man, as soon as I got those photos done, I went back to here, right? Because this is a hard way to live unless you're just that type of person. You're very disciplined and very structured, right? But so find a happiness. But if you have a goal that you're going to achieve, usually as soon as you achieve your goal, you go back to here because it's not as realistic there. So most people live here. And then we waver back and forth between here based on our goals for sure. So great question. And then Sue, olive oil or avocado oil, no breading on the tomatoes. Good. I'm glad. Yeah, girlfriend, enjoy your fried green tomatoes for sure. A healthy fat and a tomato perfect combination. Olive oil and avocado oil are two of the best. So you're doing everything right. You don't have to give those up at all. Tiffany, I have 70 pounds to lose. My doctor suggested fasting. I started on September 1st and have lost 9 pounds with one meal a day. Is that on track? It seems like I should have lost faster. I feel great. Struggle at 20 hours. Okay, so um, if you're doing one meal a day and you're struggling at 20 hours, like that's interesting because it's usually the other way around. But what you want to do is just stay consistent, Tiffany. It sounds like you're on track. I don't really like to lead intermittent fasting with a weight loss perspective. I like to lead with intermittent fasting as a healing perspective. So your body's healing from the inside out, and that takes time. So the fact that you're losing weight, you should feel really optimistic about. And then you have to mentally, Tiffany, just commit to this is the way I'm going to live for the rest of my life. And then your body starts to trust that you're not going to go run off and do something drastic and send it into some shock wave. And then it'll start letting go of the weight for sure. So 9 pounds is nothing to question. I think that is fantastic. And it's only September 16th. So you've lost 9 pounds in like 15 days. Girlfriend, pat yourself on the back. Just keep your fasting going, ease into it. And then before you know it, you're going to start dropping that extra weight for sure. So you're doing a great thing for yourself. Angela, IF has changed my life since taking the course in 2017. No more IBS. I'm in women's health and I have recommended this course a million times. Just wanted to thank you. Angela, thank you so much for saying that. And thank you so much for sharing. The more women that we get who are thriving with this fasting lifestyle, the more women we can get to give it a go. And before we know it, we're going to change the way we as women are aging today. That's my personal goal. And Angela, it sounds like that's your goal too. So thank you so much for sharing and congratulations to you, girlfriend. I love that you don't have to deal with that IBS anymore. And that's really where the magic of intermittent fasting does fall into place with so many of us, is that we heal things, right? That we never would have thought could be healed by just doing absolutely nothing. Your body's very intelligent. It will take care of everything that you need it to take care of. Sherry, so grateful for Diane. I was down 12 pounds as a grad, but didn't get past that until recently as I slowly learned this idea of 20 hours. I don't lose unless I go to the 20 hours. It is the sweet spot. Sherry, I'm so glad that you trusted me and got to that 20 hours. And congratulations on losing 12 pounds. 12 pounds is like more than a size of clothing. And 12 pounds is like a baby, right? Like if you think about it, like 12 pounds is like a 1-month-old baby. Like that's a lot of weight to carry around. And you got rid of that extra weight. And now you can just move around your life so much freer. So I'm so happy for you. Thank you for trusting me. 20 hours is the sweet spot. I know sometimes it takes a little time to get there, but I'm proud of you that you got there. And now you just rinse and repeat and just know that you can ebb and flow. Let your life determine what you need to do. And when you really want to get that deep, energized sense of calm and that that feeling of empowerment in a fasted state, you got that 20-hour experience now you can lean on for sure. Yvonne, good morning. I love hearing all the positive stories. Yeah, so do I, Yvonne. It is the best. And you have a positive story too as well. But the stories that we tell, the positive experiences that we share, the health concerns that we're able to get rid of, the pesky weight that starts to magically fall off when we do absolutely nothing and just trust our body is the best way to live. And I love that you guys were willing to share some of your stories today. If you're struggling, I highly recommend trusting your body, right? Do nothing and let it do its thing. If you want a little bit more of the background of why this works so great and jump in with our community so you can come back and share your story as a grad, make sure you get on my email list. All the information is available in the description box. Our next course is starting October the 2nd. I take you through a month-long coaching experience with me, and I share everything that I did and everything that I have learned from this community, put it in a course format so you can have the power of the education of that experience as well. Have a great weekend, you guys. It is starting to cool down here in Texas. I'm sure where a lot of you live is starting to cool down as well. So enjoy this fall time before we get back into those cold seasons as well. Linda, I am currently in your course and appreciate the healing factor of this course. I have lost 8 pounds so far. frees your mind not to worry about the weight loss. Yes, for sure. So she's not worried about weight loss, you guys, but she's lost 8 pounds. That's what I want to teach you guys. If you don't focus on the weight loss, if you're not stepping on that scale every day and you're just letting your body heal itself, the weight comes off effortlessly. The weight comes off effortlessly. I'm going to say that 3 times. The weight comes off effortlessly, right? You just get out of the way and you do nothing. Linda, I'm so happy for you. Thank you for trusting me with you. I can't wait till you're a graduate. And just keep doing what you're doing. Keep showing up in class. Keep listening to the lessons. The second and the third week are probably the most important week. The first week, I know we talk about intermittent fasting and I teach you all the basics of that, but it's the second and third week where you're really going to cement your mindset to continue with this lifestyle when life starts happening. So can't wait to see you as a graduate for sure. Green Eyes Gemini. The next course starts on October 2nd. If you go to fortodaysagingwoman.com, there is a place to join my email list, or there's a place you can click to learn more about the class. We start on that Saturday, but everybody comes in on Friday, so registration closes on October 1st. Super fun class. As you can tell, the super great community of women who go through the class as well. And then they come back and support each other. So it is the best, most amazing community of women. I love all of you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I will see you guys back here on Monday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe, follow, and make sure you check me out on Instagram as well. I do a little bit different content over there that kind of bridges the gaps we can't cover here. Have a great one. I'll see you guys later.